Cheers, guys.
Kind of.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Ta-da.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the Movie Podium, a weekly podcast where we collectively choose a movie to watch, and at the end of the week, we get together and talk about it. It's kind of like the book club.
But for movies.
But for movies.
It's but for movies.
But for movies.
Waiting, Bueller. We also came up with a set of
for
questions
movies.
to ask ourselves as we watch this film, such as, is this a podium movie or a top 3 in the year of its respective release? I'm your host, Matt Scott, and I'm here with my dudes, Daniel.
Heyo.
Dave.
Hey, Matt.
Eric.
Hello.
Who am I going with first? Cooking with Kevin.
No song.
Hey, that's me.
Hello, John.
Hello, John.
Hello, John.
Hello, John.
This week's film was inspired by us randomly talking about Westerns, and so we decided, why not a Western? And without further ado, we present our next movie.
A Fistful of Dollars is the first motion picture of its kind.
Dude goes into town, kills a bunch of people. Dude leaves town.
That pretty much sums it up, yeah.
You
I like
forgot
that.
the money part.
I like the Creed influence.
The money was immaterial.
The money is the title.
But he ends up giving the money
fair.
away anyway, so...
It does.
It is kind of funny. He does give away the money.
Kill the people, get the
Oops.
money.
Did we just
Leave the
spoil
people.
it all?
Give the money.
Spoiler alert. So as I mentioned, we chose a Western, which is the first one that we've done in this past year. I think this is a great one to start with because I think it sets a bar and a standard. But I also think that there are better ones, and I think that we can definitely move from this and hit a couple of the really good ones. But I think this is a great one to start. How many of you guys, is this your first time seeing this?
Me.
Me as well.
It's no.
You had to think.
Thank you for answering.
Wait, have you watched the movie, period?
No, I watched it.
Okay.
Cool. And so I think this was a good introduction to the Western genre. And so I'm kind of excited to, build upon this. But let's get into it. You guys ready for some random ass facts?
Let's go.
Kevin's not ready.
Yep.
Oh, I'm ready.
His guitar's still crooked.
All right. Well, this got a 7.9 on IMDb.
Is that higher than Thor?
It is higher than Thor, but lower than Deadpool.
They're basically the same movie, Deadpool and this one.
Right.
That's funny, Eric, because I'm going to jump in with the first random ass fact. And
I know what you're going with, too.
Yeah, this movie was basically a remake of a Japanese movie by
Rip-off.
Akira Kurosawa. And basically he stole the entire story directly from that movie and made this movie to the point where Kurosawa actually sued him and won money in court. Well, they settled out of court, but he made money for a movie that he had no involvement in.
Yeah, which is funny.
You're not gonna play me like that.
To build on that, Kurosawa stated that he made more money off of this movie. He had 15% of the worldwide grossing than he did of his own film. His own film was called Yojimbo, released in 1961. Also on that fact, and I'm glad you brought that up, this was originally released in 1964, as we'll get into for our podium movie, or the podium year, sorry. But in the United States, it wasn't released until 1967 because of those court battles.
Oh.
That's
Isn't that
insane.
weird?
Really?
Yeah, isn't that
Yeah.
crazy?
And Kurosawa actually sent a message to Sergio Leone that said, "I have just had a chance to see your film. It is a very fine film, but it is my film."
I like that because a lot of times you hear things and you're like, oh, he did it better. Like when Bob Dylan, Jimi Hendrix covers Bob Dylan, he's like, man, I think that's Jimi Hendrix's song now.
Right.
So it's funny that he went the opposite direction.
Turns
Like that.
into a pissing contest.
It's just so funny
Yeah.
in the way he's like, it was a good movie,
Yeah.
but it was mine. You just
Yes.
made my movie with
It's
guns.
awesome.
So please pay me.
So
Which he did.
speaking of being released in 1967, this was actually filmed silently, as I'm sure we'll talk about more. Clint Eastwood actually did not read for his voice or speak for his voice on this until that year, 1967.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't realize
So they
it was,
filmed it all in '64,
silently.
and then didn't do any dialogue until '67.
Any English dialogue.
Any English
Right.
dialogue.
Okay.
So he wouldn't
Okay.
read in English, right?
'Cause
They
it was
finally
first-
were like,
it was
I
first
guess you can
released
be
in
the
Italy.
words that go
Right.
along with your body.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Anyone want to guess Clint Eastwood's age?
96.
1964.
In this.
Right now?
Oh, okay.
In this movie.
Way off.
I don't know.
Ah,
Off the top of my head.
What?
23.
34.
Let's say
Daniel's got it.
32. Oh,
Oh, that was just a guess.
34. Daniel got it.
Headshot. Click
he's
on
younger
the
than us in
trigger.
this movie.
Dan and I are splitting the cash afterwards.
Danny the Kid.
There's a couple stories involving Clint Eastwood and Rawhide. Which is, where he kind of got his start from a bigger perspective, but it was a TV show. And his contract at the time prohibited him from filming movies in the States while he was on his breaks. The contract, however, did allow him to film in Europe, which, as we know, this was filmed in Europe. Lucky him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, it started a whole genre.
Yeah, it did.
Him going to Europe and filming, with a European director sparked a whole genre of
The spaghetti western.
spaghetti westerns. Yeah.
And I was reading about that, and it was funny because apparently there had been like 25 spaghetti westerns before this, but this was the one that took the term or started it. And whoever, critics put that statement on this movie. So this
Okay.
did start a genre, the spaghetti western,
Is
as
that
we know.
because it was the first one that got like notoriety in America?
Exactly. Yep. And as Daniel said, it's basically, as we, spaghetti Italian. It's an Italian director filming. I mean, it's as literal as it can be, right?
Yeah. It's not very clever.
It's not.
It's like, ooh, what do the Italians eat? Spaghetti. So this is a spaghetti western. It's not an American western.
That really is, I guess, what
Totally
it was
different.
right.
Completely different thing.
It's not fancy. All right, last one. Clint Eastwood was not the first pick for this movie. The first choice was Henry Fonda. He did not get the pick, or actually, they didn't even ask him. Apparently, that was Sergio Leone's first pick. Then he went with James Coburn, but he was too expensive. Then they offered it to Charles Bronson, who turned it down, saying it was the worst script that he had ever seen. The next
Harsh.
I
choice,
was going to be pretty offended about that.
right? The next choice was Richard Harrison, who declined the role as well. But luckily for everybody involved, he was also one of the main stars in Rawhide, which he then pointed to his co-star, Clint Eastwood, and said, hey, you guys should check this guy out. I think he'd be perfect for it. When Clint Eastwood originally read the script, he actually did not like it, saying it was too much dialogue. Go figure. And so him and Sergio Leone worked it out, and the final product, there's obviously not a ton of dialogue from him, and that's why. Even Eastwood himself didn't want it.
Oh boy.
But that's how they ended up with Clint Eastwood in this movie. Crazy.
Was that
Anybody
the
got any
final
others?
random ass fact? Because
It
that
is.
was pretty fucking random. That was like 6 ricochets. Pew,
Yeah.
pew, pew.
I know. And I think
I was wondering why the why it seemed like the mouth movements were off a little bit from the audio, and that now it totally makes sense. I was like, hang on, I rented this.
I would not have-
why is the audio off?
Subtitles were crucial for me in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
A lot of these people did not speak English, and and a lot of it's, as we talked about
Including
last
Clint
week.
Eastwood.
Yeah, the ADR on this was pretty rough.
It honestly didn't kill me as much as I thought it would.
Wow. That's shocking because I thought you were going to hate this movie for that reason alone.
If it was a modern movie with
I didn't like this movie.
everything
Really?
high tech and all that stuff, but it was like an older film, and I can kind of get by that with the film quality.
Oh
matches
yeah,
the
give it a
audio
pass
quality.
for its limitations of the time.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's fair. It's a fair assessment. All right, let's get into the categories. Favorite thing about the movie. All right, Dave. You said you didn't like this. What was your favorite thing?
The length.
That's on
No,
That's
I don't think it's the reason why I dislike the movie, but my dad, I don't know if he still does, but really liked Westerns when I was growing up, so I've seen this and other Clint Eastwood movies a lot growing up. But yeah, it did make me want to play through Red Dead Redemption 2 again.
This is your favorite thing. That's good.
Nice.
And seeing the scene that Biff is watching in the hot tub in Back to the Future 2 excited me.
What a great flick!
But yeah, I'll admit, I dozed off a couple times watching this movie.
It's not a long movie.
It's not a long movie, but that's what I'm saying. I was bored. I was bored. Like,
Yeah, I don't disagree. Daniel?
For me, it's this is where The Man with No Name got his start. I think the next two movies in this trilogy are much better than this one. This one does have that iconic scene that Dave was talking about, but I just think that For a Few Dollars More and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly are both superior films to this one.
Yeah.
So it's just like the starting point that then gets to those two
It's
other.
kind
Sure.
of rude and crude, like a
Yeah.
Hope
Speaking
is.
of The Man with No Name,
Uh-oh.
I've got a top five.
Oh. Daniel's on fire.
he beat me to it.
For my top
Good job.
five, I have top five nameless protagonists.
Oh.
Nice.
Okay.
A clever girl.
Coming in at number five, I'm going to go with Mulberry Field 30-something, which is the main character in Yojimbo, the movie that was
Nice.
based upon. He looks out a
I was like,
window
"What the fuck
and he
are you
sees a
talking
mulberry
about?"
field when they ask him his name, so he says Mulberry Field, and then his last name he just says 30-something because that's how old he is.
Nice.
So he's just like, I saw something, that's my age, that's my name. But it's not really his name. Goes throughout the rest of the movie, you never find out his name. Number four, I'm going with the driver in Drive.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Nice.
He also, you never find out his name. Number three, I'm going with everyone in Reservoir Dogs because they all just go by surnames. You
Nice.
don't find any of their real names, and none of their surnames are real. They're just colors.
Well,
Number
there's a couple
two,
of them.
I've got The Man with No Name from the Fistful of Dollars trilogy. And number one protagonist with no name is Doom Guy from Doom. You never know his name.
Nice.
He's colloquially just known as Doom Guy, and he just
Doom.
fucks up demons.
Yeah.
That's all his thing is like he woke up and chose violence against demons. That's awesome.
Nice. Well done. So my favorite thing kind of builds on that, and I said that it's about a dude with no name that just comes into town and wreaks havoc. It reminds me of Nolan and Ledger's Joker from The Dark Knight, and how there's no origin story, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm actually surprised Daniel didn't put the Joker down.
Well, he's a protagonist. I was thinking of Kevin Spacey from Seven too. But anyways, I just like that there is not much of a backstory, and he comes in as a badass. I mean, for a Western, that's kind of what I want. If it was a different genre, I think I'd probably pick on no character plot or anything.
But
like, in this case,
this guy?
Yeah, I
right.
Yeah,
He's
the
a stranger
smallest
from the
hint
frontier.
of a backstory in this movie,
right,
where he says that like he was around when something bad happened before, and no one could do anything about it.
Why? I knew someone like you once. There was no one there to help. I'll get moving.
Right, and that's it.
All the backstory you get from him,
right,
and the rest is just all him just outsmarting a bunch of assholes and
I think one of my lines of his alludes to his past, and it's one of the few glimpses you get.
John, that's later for the line question.
Oh, I froze. John, what was your favorite thing?
The pretty much along the same lines as you guys, the mysterious hero archetype. He arrives, he raises hell, he leaves.
Yep.
He's chaotic good. He pretty much like fucking burns the place down, like burns out all the bad guys, gives away the money, and then rides off into the sunset.
Nice. Yep, absolutely. Eric?
My favorite thing was the soundtrack, the opening credits, because it's Tarantino lifted it from this, essentially, and it was cool to see what inspired that, and I was pretty pumped on it.
Nice. Kevin? Mr. Gullible?
I have one completely different. I love that the man with no name, the Clint Eastwood, is in a Western, is not a gunslinger. He uses stealth quite a bit in this movie, and he's not one to pull a trigger unless he like absolutely is in the situation he has to do it. And I found that really intriguing throughout the movie. Like he was like Splinter selling stuff.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a great point because he doesn't kill the guard either.
Right.
He shoots around the guard until the guard backs up, and then shoots down the door.
The thing above the door, yeah.
The whole time, like
that's a great point, Kelf.
Yeah, he's sneaking around and all that.
Yeah, nice.
Whenever he's getting, he was extremely hurt and injured and trying to escape. He was underneath the porch, army crawling.
He was outsmarting him.
Yeah, that was really intriguing. In a Western, you don't really see very often. But I haven't watched many Westerns, I'll say that. But something different.
I think I get what you're saying. It's not necessarily the stereotype that you were expecting, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not the gunslinger who doesn't get shot because he's just faster than everybody, and he doesn't have any repercussions. Like he gets his ass kicked. And
he does. And I'll say he's kind of, and this is Clint Eastwood's character in any movie, Western-wise, he's kind of the Hulk Hogan in wrestling. Like, gets hurt, beat up, comes back. I mean, we all love, you know what I mean? There's some pretty big similarities there, and I think they both get credit and heat from it. But, all right, next category. Least favorite part about the movie. Let's go back to Dave. What was your least favorite thing in this case?
Don't go back to me. I already said why I didn't like this movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
I already said I fell asleep a couple times. I thought I just thought it was boring.
Yeah,
it's slow. It's slow. It's like
it's an hour and a half.
But
the pace,
but it's slow. I thought it was slow. Like it's not action packed. It's a lot of mystery and subtleness and quiet. There's not there's not a lot of dialogue. There's just a lot of action playing out, and it
Yeah.
just kind of put me to sleep.
It's not Mad Max.
Yeah, the action is punctuated too. It's not
Right,
It's
exactly.
just like, oh, holy shit, something happened.
It's not
Yeah.
Mad Max. Like comparing the
Like
two.
the parts where
Kevin.
the parts that were exciting were when he was like, "Hang on, you're gonna need I'm gonna go kill these guys," and he just rattles off like 4 shots, and
It's
then
over.
we have a long period of time of
Yeah.
waiting for something else to happen, and then a barrel rolls down and kills some people, and that was pretty cool. But then there's a lot of downtime in between that part where I might have fell asleep for a little bit, and then I woke up and he was all beat up, and I was like, oh shit, what the hell happened to him?
Oh, you missed the best part. No.
See, that's one of the things. I think this movie is really well paced because it's not just like jamming action scenes in there for no reason.
Sure.
Which a lot of movies do. They're
Yeah.
like, we haven't had any action in 20 minutes. Better have a big shootout or some shit.
Right.
Daniel, I
Yeah.
100% agree with you on this for the first time on this podcast.
Oh my god.
Oh no! Stop it now. I feel
I'm not saying this
the podcast
because
shaking.
of a text earlier saying I'd probably love this movie because you said I'd hate it. Like
The unholy union. Kelvin Daniel joining.
what's funny
It's
is
not a this is not a boring movie.
well, it's funny
I'll say
because
that for sure.
I agree with both.
Do you guys
parties.
become Devin whenever you?
Oh god. But like, I think it is well paced as well. I couldn't agree more on it's like, yeah, it needs action at some points, but then we need plot points to build up to that action. But I did find it boring at times. Like I kind of had
Yeah.
both sides.
It can
I
be
think-
both.
Yeah, I
think
agree.
it's a great movie to be in the theater. Like, you have to focus on this movie.
You
Which was
100%.
kind of one of my downsides is I'm like, and I'm not one to focus, but I'm like, right, gotta pay
Clint-
attention. What the fuck is going on?
I know you have to set
Clint
aside
Eastwood
your
has
phone.
he's got this monotone voice that just is dull and just kind of
Yeah,
boring.
it is very dull. It's very.
Yeah.
It's not it's not
It's not like an interesting base. It's
Right.
like
Yeah,
a flat.
yeah.
It's funny because when he makes a joke, it's the same as his natural monotone.
Right.
And
It's like me and
Because he
John
does
Canning
make
joke.
like a
That's
he does
a joke.
yeah.
It's John
He
or
does
I.
like kind of make a couple jokes, and you're just like,
Huh?
wow, he delivered that dry as fuck. Like,
You're
That's
like,
like what his whole career
okay, that's a
is.
joke.
Yeah, it is. But he kind
Yeah,
of
it's very
learned.
much a Clint Eastwood thing.
It is.
But I think it's worse in this movie than a lot.
I
of
agree. I think he learned how to lean into it, and this is
Yeah.
before he leaned into it. Daniel, what was your least favorite thing?
My least favorite thing was the ADR.
Don't laugh. I'm not joking. I want to warn you that those murderers will make a corpse out of you one day.
It's a sign of the times, but it's bad.
ADR.
Yeah, that's
we
all.
were
That's
talking
what
about.
we're
Audio.
talking about when we're talking about
Oh.
recording the voices,
I
not
got you.
live, but
Post
after the fact.
dubbing it in, kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, I mean, there's some times, and part of it's probably due to them filming in different languages because some of the mouth movements aren't even close.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's the ADR can distract. Thankfully, I had subtitles, so
Smart.
I could read a little bit
Yeah.
and not focus so
What?
much on
You
the
can
lip
read?
movement to try and figure out what they're saying.
Yeah.
I think it might be of the time too.
Yeah,
That was the-
yeah. I'm sure it's partly because of the times. I'm sure partly it's because of where they recorded.
Yep.
Yeah, how movies are distributed.
Yeah, and then Matt's point of it was 3 years before the English ADR even happened. Like
Right.
that could be part of it
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Like there are
Lost
a
in
lot of things
translation.
working against it.
Yep.
But that's my least favorite part of the movie. It's
Yeah.
not. It doesn't kill the movie at all for me, but
Right.
it's just one of those things that I notice and I'm like,
Oh, there was one where I can't remember. There was one guy came up being like really excited when Clint Eastwood came in and he said something crazy and it almost looked like Japanese subtitles dubbed with English. Like, yeah, I'm glad you're here. it was that was bad, but that was the only one that really was noticeable to me.
Yeah, Kevin, what was your
The
least favorite
first
thing?
4 dudes who confront him.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's a scene that didn't work well for me that I was very glad I had subtitles for.
Yeah. For
Yeah,
sure.
like, none of those dudes even like move their mouths. They just stand there and get shot.
They might not have in some of those cases.
They like stand there and shoot at them, and then they stand there and get shot to death.
Right. Kevin, what was your least favorite thing?
Mine was a random one. I think it was Ramon's brother had this ridiculously stupid laugh.
Esteban. This is my least favorite thing too.
No way.
Yeah,
Oh, it was
like a
bad.
wicked,
You guys didn't like
wicked
his
witch
laugh?
West.
Oh my
They did it
God.
throughout the whole movie.
It's piercing.
It
It's
is.
not even like once. It's not twice. It's not 3 times. It's not 4 times. It's not 5 times. It's so the whole movie. Every time he's on screen, you hear that,
It's awesome.
and it was just annoying as hell.
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
I agree, Kevin.
Nice.
Couple Esteban haters.
Oh my
cutting it
god.
up.
Hey, he makes a great guitar. John?
Yeah, if he had a guitar, I would like it.
John, what was your least favorite thing?
So I think this is kind of a cover up for the language and dubbing thing, but the cigar and beard scratching thing, and it just hides anything facially he's trying to do. Like, I feel like that was probably used to cover up, like, all right, we're gonna add lines later. It was just it seemed like Clint Eastwood never really said anything. I just had to read it on screen.
Right. Which makes sense now that I brought up that random ass fact. He didn't want to say anything.
Yeah,
He was like Darth Vader in a suit.
Yeah, exactly.
honestly, I thought that Clint Eastwood's lines mash up well. I didn't realize that was recorded later.
Yep. 3 years.
Maybe
Yeah,
because
he
they
When I
were-
started-
Something I
spoke
didn't
English, right?
Yeah.
Did he speak English on the set?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's what I thought.
definitely. Yeah, there's some stories about how poor the translation was between him and the director and all these other people. Like, he was like the only one that could speak English. The girl was German. Some of the guys were Italian. Some were French, and like they were all over the place in terms of where they're from. And so the
Does
language
anyone
barrier
know
was a mess.
American English?
Yeah.
So like when they actually filmed this, there were no microphones. It was straight.
Correct.
camera.
It was silent.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, my least favorite thing was that I don't think, other than Clint Eastwood, that there were any memorable characters, and I really don't think there's too many memorable scenes. And I mean that compared to the other greats from westerns, and I even look, as Daniel kind of mentioned earlier, the sequel to this and the third, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, much more better in terms of memorable characters, scenes, moments. Those things just don't hit in this movie the same way they do in other of the greats. So, Daniel?
I will disagree with you. I think that Silvanito was a great character, but that's it.
Yeah. Well, okay, so one other, but like,
He's
Mild
the,
disagreement.
he's the
Yeah.
bartender.
yeah, the bar
Yeah.
owner.
Okay, I was going to say the
He's
same.
fine.
Yeah.
But like, I just, none of those
He's
guys,
fine.
yeah, I just don't think that there's a lot of substance.
No, I
comparatively.
agree. I agree.
Just
He's
comparatively.
Yeah, compared to the other ones, yeah, you're totally right.
Right.
I also
And
like.
I think he's the only other character that I was like, okay.
Yeah,
You know,
I
that weren't just generic cliches to me.
sure.
I like
that's true.
I like the coffin maker.
That's
Yeah, I did too.
Crazy coffin
true,
maker.
but
Yeah.
he's definitely. There's always one quirky dude in the.
I think
in
there's
the
some
movies,
good characters
Western movies.
on the bad guy side.
Really? I thought they were boring.
I mean,
but-
differentiation between the bad guys. I mean, mildly.
yeah. If you watch The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, though, you'll be like, okay, now I understand what I'm trying to say in terms of like these guys stand out. Or
Yeah.
these guys
Yeah,
stand
I'll be
out.
honest,
I think
I
the
have
story
watched
is
old
interesting
westerns.
of the two feuding crime families.
Yeah, that's
But
fine.
the actual crime families, I'm like, I couldn't remember which one.
Yeah,
was
exactly.
Which one.
No,
You know,
hardly.
I couldn't
Yeah, I
remember
think within
names
the
of
row
crime
house,
families. I couldn't
there's-
remember the brothers' names.
And it never felt
I'm just
too.
like, oh yeah, the big bad guy.
Right.
Oh,
The big-
the little brother. Oh,
Right.
the one who's a hothead. you
Yeah,
know?
did you notice that the bad guy who's sheriff is the white guy?
Yeah, it was just all over, and so I just didn't
Yeah.
think it was kind of boring from that aspect. All right, next category: who won the movie? Don't think there's too many. Daniel?
Akira Kurosawa.
Yeah. Nice.
Because he
Very
didn't
true.
touch this movie and got paid.
Like I said, more money from this than his own movie.
Yeah, 50% of like $19.5 million.
Yeah, that's
You know,
nice
that's a pretty
guess.
good chunk of change.
Yeah,
He
good
touched this
answer.
movie because he wrote it.
Well, but this movie specifically.
He wrote his version.
His version, yeah. I said Clint Eastwood because this obviously
well.
catapulted him into one of the most greatest cinematic careers of all time.
This was his first feature.
This
film.
was his first featured film, and he was 34 years old.
Not
Let that sink
96.
in. Yeah, not 96. 34 in his first
He was
featured film.
96 in Gran Torino.
So yeah, he's been milking that cash cow for twice as long as we've been alive.
Right.
Also, I don't think anyone's looked as cool with a cigarette as he does in this movie.
Right, and it's funny because he is notoriously not a cigarette smoker, but said he liked having it in his mouth because his reaction was that the taste was so bad that was kind of part of why he was making those facial expressions.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
he said the
Almost
taste was so
accurate
bad.
work, yeah.
I saw that.
Because he was,
read
I
that.
mean, he just looks so cool with the poncho and
Yeah.
the hat.
It's like a man who's
Cigarette.
been
It's just like,
stained by trauma.
oh, this is a man I don't want to mess with.
Right. Anybody else have any other answers other than those two?
Nope.
Negative.
No, I just said Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, like this was his first featured film. Isn't that nuts? I mean, this is the beginning of it. Now, Rawhide was a TV show, and he was a star, kind of. But this is really what got it started.
But this is the movie podium.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's also one of those things too, where back then, TV actors were not famous.
Right.
What is the
Makes
movie
sense.
podium?
People you saw on TV, like until you were a movie star,
Yep.
you weren't famous. You were just an
A
actor.
movie star.
Yep.
Yeah.
A movie star.
Nice.
What's the next question?
Yeah, next question. Not all of us got that one, John. Favorite song moment or score scene? Something rotten reference. Eric, I think I know your answer. What are you going to say?
It's the intro theme. I mean, it's the theme
Yeah.
of the movie.
Yeah.
It's It's the song in the movie.
Yeah, that plays throughout.
I believe it's
No,
called
I-
Titoli.
There's a couple different ones to the movie because I looked up the soundtrack
Nice.
on Spotify and they have them
Nice.
like separated.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, nice.
And the one that I liked the most was titled, I'm gonna fuck this up.
Oh, can't wait.
Yeah.
Cavalacta.
Yep,
Cavalcata.
Yep.
But it's
I
like
think
the
you nailed it.
It's like the perfect Western song. It's got that flute and whistle in it,
Yeah.
and then the whip crack.
Oh, yeah, I got to have the whip.
You just
Love
described
it.
every Western song.
Ow!
Anybody,
Kevin, fix your guitar.
anybody have any other
one?
specific scenes?
I didn't have a specific. I just said the whole score is a vibe.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
It's just that Western score vibe. It's great.
Yeah, I had a specific moment it's when he takes the money and gives it to the boy and the girl, or the boy and the girl, or the boy's mom, sorry, and the Royos are riding in, and you just get that like male chorus with the cowboy music. It just goes hard.
Yeah.
All the boys joining up.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, like a little higher than that, but yeah. I thought that was a cool one, but yeah, the soundtrack, yeah, it's definitely a vibe.
I was super pumped to hear Western music, and this did not disappoint at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is one of the best things about Western movies is the music. The
Oh, dude, that's
the
like
Outlaws
the best
stuff.
part of playing Red Dead Redemption 2 is riding around listening to the to the Western music.
Yep.
It's so sick.
Oh man.
And it's funny because nothing else really, except for like sea shanties, nothing else really has its own like. This is the music you use in this type of movie.
Right.
Like you don't see that in other genres.
Maybe horror. Some like each horror has their own like dark theme, but
Yeah, but it's still not.
it's not as
you know, the
noticeable or
same as-
distinguished.
Yeah, it's more just like a random, really, really low note.
Like,
undertone,
because you
something
could use
like
that in like a thriller or a drama. You could
Sure.
just take
Yeah.
that, a lot of those horror movies, and move their soundtracks into another genre. Where if you started playing Western music behind, let's say, Batman,
Right.
It wouldn't. It wouldn't.
Sure. Yeah, I don't disagree.
connect.
Unless it's multi-universe Western Batman. Cowboy Batman.
Cow
There is-
Batman.
I have a comic of Cowboy Batman.
Cowman.
Nice.
Speaking of cowboys,
Oh baby.
Oh,
I've got my top 5 cowboys.
Oh.
This is
I like the top 5 music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you are welcome. You are so welcome, Dave.
Did you
Tell
write
me how
that?
you don't watch our pod without telling us that you don't watch the pod.
Correct.
All right,
Dave.
number 5, Jason Witten.
I knew you were gonna do that.
Knew it.
Number 4, Darren Woodson. Number 3, Michael Irving. Number 2, Troy Aikman.
All right.
Number 1,
No.
Emmett Smith.
Nice.
Okay.
What about?
I guess I should have been more specific. Top 5 cowboys that we've seen play.
Yeah, that's fair. Because Roger Staubach.
I wasn't going to put
Also-
Roger Staubach
Yeah.
on there. Like, I've never seen Roger Staubach play.
What about
Must
Dak?
further specify that these are football players on the Dallas Cowboys.
I didn't know what was happening until number 2.
Eric, these are Olympic athletes.
Troy Aikman.
That's fine.
You know Troy Aikman from King of the Hill, don't you, Eric?
Yeah. Well, I don't know where I know him from, but
King of the
probably
Hill.
probably football. Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say Roger Staubach and Dak. Not that anybody likes Dak in Dallas. All right,
Yeah, but
I
that's
like
pretty
when
good.
His ankles don't get.
don't disagree.
You know, I'm not.
Twisted
Tony
Yeah,
Romo was
it's
outside looking
still
in.
pretty good.
And Tony Romo,
Tony.
but somebody's got to win a playoff game. Anyways, next category. Does this movie get made now? Stop me from doing too much sports here.
Somebody stop me.
All right, this would be interesting because I don't really know how to answer this.
I said I don't think so.
Yeah, I
sorry.
said no.
I just don't think people are into westerns. No more cowboys and Indians. Like
Yeah.
I wonder
cowboys
how
and
that-
Native Americans.
I wonder how that Kevin Costner movie did that came out on my birthday.
Yeah.
I didn't look to see.
Oh, I heard that bombed. I heard it bombed.
I figured it would because it's a western,
Right.
and he made it a 2-part. Like he got a 2-movie deal out of the box
Right.
for a western.
So
Man, Kevin Costner had
He's putting a lot
He
of his
loves
own
his
money
big
into it also.
overblown
if I'm
movies.
Okay.
reading into that.
So it's his own money. That's why he could.
Yeah, but yeah, it I'm pretty sure it bombed.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm going with no because westerns don't get made anymore.
yeah. I have a counter a little bit. I don't disagree in why I was kind of on the fence. But last year in 2023, they had a movie on Netflix. Of course, I'm gonna like this, but Nicolas Cage was the main character, and it was called The Old Way. And not only was it reasonable time-wise, it was only an hour and 35 minutes, but it's also a revenge story, and it was pretty basic, and I did really enjoy it. I look back, and IMDb gave it a 5.5. I swear it's not that bad. It's really
And it was
not.
a Western?
And it was a Western, like 1800s.
Okay, 'cause sometimes they do that, like, genre
No.
bending stuff where
This
it's
was a
like-
Western. And
Like, people think No Country for Old Men is a Western.
oh no, that's a Western
It
vibe,
just
but
takes
it's
place in Texas.
yeah, in the 70s. Yep.
Yeah.
Is the Hateful Eight a Western?
Yes,
I think so. Yeah.
but that was 10 years ago. We're
And
getting
it's also
old.
Tarantino, and Tarantino can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
But I think that's the most recent one that I would say that I've seen and liked.
Yeah, the only other one that I'll bring up is the Killers of the Flower Moon, which is the Scorsese movie that was up for Best Picture last year. Now, I didn't see it, so I can't say if it's good or not. And it was up for Best Picture. However, it was 3 hours and 35 fucking minutes long.
Jesus.
Yeah, I wanted to see it,
Wait,
and
that's
then
a
I saw
movie,
the
not a
time link,
series?
and I was
It's
like,
a movie at 3 hours. I mean, Scorsese's
Yeah,
movies just
Oppenheimer.
keep getting longer and longer, like The Irishman.
Yeah.
I mean, he just, I don't know, he can't.
That's like a
Sync it up.
fucking movie back when this was made where you have an intermission.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So there are
this is
westerns being made. I will say though that this style, maybe not. It's
well,
kind of
Scorsese also gets to do whatever he wants.
sure.
And the
And so
reason
does Nick
his
Cage.
movies keep getting longer and longer is because he
Tarantino.
can do whatever he wants.
And he's getting old, and he's
No one's going to tell Scorsese, like, rein it
Right.
back a little bit, bud.
right.
They're just going to say, like, do whatever you want. You're Martin Scorsese, man.
Yeah, I just
No,
think with this style movie, I just don't think that they're getting the attention from the audience the same way anymore. So I'd say no, if I had to lean one way.
I want to say that I'd like to see a modern day version of this. I would love to see a modern day version of this because it's not your standard Western. And you don't have to go too much into character development, but it could still be interesting with some mysteriousness of whoever would play Clint Eastwood's character, and go there. And you could actually continue onto that. I think it could build something onto that, as long as you're not doing like the standard stupid Western. I don't want to say stupid. I shouldn't say that. As long as you're
Stereotypical.
not
How
doing
dare you.
The standard
offended.
stereotypical Western.
Sure.
And
Fucking dick.
I'm not a Western guy. But I enjoyed this movie, and I think it could be, and I wish it would be made. This is a type of movie that could possibly gain interest just because it's different.
If they remade it, specifically this movie, you mean? Like a remake
Not
of
this
this?
exact movie, but something very, very similar.
Gotcha. I'm telling you,
I think a remake of this movie.
that's
would do
kind of what I
okay.
was thinking. I actually think if the best way to get this movie made now would be to remake it.
Yeah.
Refresh. it.
Like update the dialogue
Yeah.
a little
Right,
bit.
Yep.
right.
You know, keep most of it because it works pretty well, but just update the dialogue a little bit.
Make the
Yeah, someone
the bad
sneaking
guys
in,
more
make it a little
memorable.
Making
snappier with the
two families
dialogue.
that are controlling a
Right.
Yeah, right. You could elaborate a little better, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it was probably made in a generic, archetypical way to be like exported. It seems like
100%.
so. If they could basically
It's just filmed
refine
locally,
it,
right?
I guess, make it like, all right, let's make it a bona fide movie, not just a product.
Right. Absolutely. All right, next category. Favorite line from the movie. Daniel, don't take it. I mean, there's not a lot.
My mistake.
Yeah.
4 condoms.
Yep, that's of course the answer.
My mistake, 4 coffins.
Yeah, that was mine.
Yeah, I knew. I knew I had to get that one early because it's like one of 4 lines in the movie.
Yeah, I have one other one. Eric, what's yours?
Yeah, mine is when a man's got money in his pocket, he begins to appreciate the peace.
Nice.
No. When a man's got money in his pocket, he begins to appreciate peace.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
I had when a man with 45 meets a man with a rifle. You said the man with a pistol's a dead man. Let's see if that's true. Go ahead. load up and shoot.
When a man with a 45 meets a man with a rifle, you said the man with a pistol's a dead man. Let's see if that's true.
Dave's shooting up there.
He's shooting up with
Finger guns.
what?
Anybody else?
I didn't have a line, but I have the conversation was about the whole dialogue with the mule and how they need to apologize to him because they shot at his feet.
Yeah.
And the mule doesn't understand.
Doesn't understand that you guys were
whole
just
dialogue
kidding.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he shoots them all to death.
Whenever the guys were making fun of him and they said that the crows were liable to scare him.
Oh, yeah. John?
There's the. Don't worry, I didn't dirty the sheet.
Oh, yeah,
when
that's
he's
right.
Sleeping in full,
Yeah. The whole.
full outfit.
That was a good one. John?
I've got a man's life can depend on a mere scrap of information. It's used twice
A man's life often depends on a mere scrap of information.
by Clint Eastwood and one of his adversaries in the Rojos clan. And the other one that I alluded to earlier that gives, a very near glimpse into the past of the Nameless Man, which is peace. Like, the Rojos are trying to give a peace offering, and he says, peace, it's hard to like something that you don't understand, I guess, or basically
Saying you don't.
alluding to him never knowing peace.
He just fights.
Ever.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, there weren't a ton of lines in this one. Again, not like some of the other famous Clint Eastwood movies, right?
When the
Right.
when the movie started and there wasn't any dialogue for quite a long time, I was about ready to get ready to be able to pause the movie to see at what time mark the first line was actually said.
Yeah,
And I was like, okay, finally.
there's
it happened.
words.
Like,
All right.
After the prelude and the opening credits.
Yeah. Next category. Most rewatchable scene.
dude, and then it got to a point where other people had talked and he still hadn't talked
Yeah.
yet. And I was like, all right, I'm going to have to pause it the first time he says anything. And then he finally says something.
Okay.
Let's see. Daniel, what was your most rewatchable scene?
The right answer.
Yeah.
The scene from Back to the Future 2.
Nice.
He keeps getting shot in the heart.
Yep.
Keeps going down. Keeps getting right back up.
Yeah.
Keeps going down. Keeps getting right back up. Starts taunting him.
Yeah.
He runs out of bullets. He gets up again. Pulls the poncho aside. Body armor. Great flick.
Bulletproof vest.
Boom. Who would have ever guessed? Maybe it was the first of that, too. I also like the scene where the quote that you had earlier, the four coffins, where he just goes
Yeah,
out.
when he's
When he kind
Walking back after blasting those dudes.
yeah, and he kind of, that's the
My
first time you
mistake.
see him, do that, and you're like, okay, he's a quick draw. He's a hot shooter. Here we go. So.
Mine was whenever he threw the machete into the guy.
Nice. That's a good
run
AB
up,
repeat.
just run that one back.
Yeah.
It was a good one.
Nice.
Or whenever he rolled the barrel down the ramp. Sorry, Eric.
No, that's a good
trample you like that. I'm sorry.
It's okay, Dave. Mine was the scene that Daniel's talking about, but specifically at the beginning when he threw the dynamite, and then there was a poof of smoke, and then he just came walking out of the smoke.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was sick.
That's such a cool shot.
Such a badass shot.
Coming
Yeah.
through the haze.
Yep. It doesn't
The
get much
poncho
better than that.
blowing in the wind slightly. Oh,
Yep.
Good Western shit.
Oh,
Good Western shit.
Kevin.
I think mine is actually an A-B repeat that's actually in the movie.
Oh yeah.
Because you have the Western stare of... and it goes to another person doing the same thing. Another person doing the same thing. Another person doing the same thing. And then it goes back to the same person at the beginning of that same 4 frames. And it goes back to them staring as well. And I feel like you're on an A-B repeat for about 5 minutes. And it happens. But it's so intense. I just want to keep rewatching it because they already forced us to rewatch it before watching this movie.
Well, what helps is the score is right there too, making
I think
it
it's
feel
on repeat
like,
also.
oh, something's going on.
Yeah, I wonder if they're making that cut quicker and quicker.
Well, so another thing I read about the score was that most of the score had already been made before the movie was filmed. And so and this kind of makes sense now, there are scenes, maybe this one, where it drags on purpose because he wants to keep that score playing. Not even kidding. Literally, that might have been an A-B repeat.
We fucking paid for this score. We're going to goddamn you.
Right.
The slow zoom up on the eyes.
I thought the kid crying was a good A-B repeat.
That kid is great at crying.
Oh, God, that was so annoying.
Another annoying person in this movie.
Yeah.
John, did you have a...
There are a few off-putting...
There are. John, did you have any rewatchables?
The Massacre, which is basically, I think a few people have mentioned it before, where he just, like, in an instant, 4 people are hanging dead, and the sheriff comes out, he's like, hey, what the fuck? You killed these people. And he points his gun, he's like, who are you? He's like, don't shoot.
Yeah.
I'm the sheriff.
Yeah, that was awesome. I love that.
So, yeah, within that scene you all mentioned, it's the fact that he's killed 4 people and about to kill 5, but he's like, wait, I'm the law here. He's like,
don't shoot.
I guess you better get these men in the ground.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I guess.
You had no fear of the law at all.
No.
He's like, you better get them boys in the dirt, then.
Yeah.
All right, next category. Most likely to be the off-screen drunk.
Hey, it's me. Beat you, Dave.
Damn.
Kevin.
My answer was everyone, because this is a Western.
Are you shitting me?
I mean, this is, yeah. Yep, everybody. Nice. Because it's a Western. That's all they do is drink.
Yeah, there's not good potable water.
Exactly.
That's why everyone drank alcohol.
I like, well, there's that scene when Clint Eastwood...
They don't have Fiji?
Yeah. Well, there's that scene where Clint Eastwood walks into the bar and he orders alcohol and he's like, what about... The bartender's like, what about water? And they're like, I don't drink water.
Water's over there.
No water.
Eating and drinking, killing, that's all you can do, just like the rest of your kind.
Like, all I do, like, this is what I drink. Like, they basically
you just brought up that bucket of well water and taking the 2 slugs of that ladle while watching them shoot at that little boy.
Yeah. So
he needs the hard stuff after seeing that.
What else we got?
I said Silvanito, the bartender or the bar owner dude.
Nice.
Yeah,
that was mine too. This dude comes rolling into town, just starts causing a lot of fucking trouble, and you're his only friend.
Yeah,
you're gonna probably drink.
Yeah,
he's like, there are 2 industries in this town: guns and liquor, and I'm in the liquor industry. Welcome aboard.
Yeah. Dave, do you have anybody other than Kevin?
No, just Kevin.
All right.
Kevin, don't you dare try to trample my bit.
Well, that leads us to casting our friends. Anybody want want to go first? This would be interesting.
Yeah, I casted Kevin as all the drunk people.
The bit lives on.
I had two.
All right, Eric.
I had Kevin as Silvanito, the bar owner, and the drunk. And then I had Daniel as the man with no name because he's playing both sides like a puppet.
Play both sides.
Yep. So those are the only two I had.
I've got 6.
Oh.
I've got
6.
I've got 4.
Oh.
Let me go next.
All right.
Because Eric, I agree with you. I am the man with no name because I'm constantly shifting alliances. Silvanito is Kelv because I bicker with him, but he's a loyal friend.
Yep.
If Kevin was tied up outside, getting beaten on, he would not sell me out.
And you would shoot the rope to get him down instead of letting him down gently.
Yeah, that's true. And I'd probably giggle when he hit the ground. I'd probably but don't fuck with my friend. Marisol is Dave, 'cause hot.
Babe.
And Ramon is Cody, because Cody would hatch a plan to steal gold from the government.
Yep. Very good.
Yeah.
Kevin, you can go last. John, did you have anybody?
No.
Dave?
You can go now.
Dave?
No, I didn't have anybody.
All right, I had 2 before Kevin goes. I don't like doing this, but I picked myself as the man with no name, mainly because I'm not a fan of bullies, and I'd be the one to fight against the cause of bullies. This also makes Daniel the bartender, because he'd be the one hiding his buddy from the Royos. Like when the bullies wanted to fight me and Daniel tried to get them off of me in a very light, tame manner. As Daniel will remember.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
bullies.
I went like, no, let's not do this. And they were like, we'll beat your ass too. And I said,
All right.
but I kind of expected Mac to like be further away than he was. Like I thought me standing in the way was going to buy him some time, and it did not buy him time. He got punched.
Yep. So yeah,
One of them.
those are my 2. A good old story.
Which one
Split
of the
his
teeth
wig.
did I punch out?
All right, Kevin. Floor is yours.
I don't know if you guys will like all of this, but
I'll leave it all.
Well, I haven't
Go
yelled
ahead.
at you yet, Kevin.
Yeah, it's been a tame
Well-
podcast.
Yeah.
Cody is the man with no name because he'd be the one that owns the Colt 45.
Okay. That's fair.
I'm the man with no name because I'd be the first one to get a drink as soon as I get into town.
Nice.
Yes.
Daniel is the man with no name because of all the going back and forth and heel turning on everybody.
Nice.
Period.
Yep.
John is the man with no name because he could get the shit kicked out of him and still keep going.
Yep.
Eric is the man of no name because he's a clever motherfucker. I'm sorry for my language. He'll figure out how to do things different ways and actually really get it done and succeed in it.
Nice.
Really get it done.
Get it?
Well,
Are you
Dave
Nicolas Cage?
is the man with no name because he's got the fabulous beard that I wish I could. And he likes to smoke.
Crafter
Nice.
while he smokes a cigar.
And also, Matt is obviously the man with no name because he's buff.
And I squint.
So I actually ended up casting 7.
Yeah.
Sorry. Not 6.
Nice. Well done.
The man with no
Well done.
name is all of us combined
Nice. With
for our best qualities.
Devin Matt or Devin I don't know.
With
I'm
our
gonna try.
powers combined.
I forgot one casting, and that's John is the coffin builder, because at the very end when he's leaving, Man with No Name's leaving town, you can just see the coffin builder measuring people on the ground. Like, I wonder how how big I need to make this coffin.
Also, John would totally be the guy to go like. John would totally be the guy to go like, "What are you doing in that coffin?" It's like, what's it fucking look like I'm doing? I'm hiding from the bad guys who are trying to kill me.
Yeah, that's a good
Actually,
point. John is...
Yeah.
That was something I didn't like about this movie, too. I forgot about that. I'm sorry.
How he stalls in the middle of fucking escaping just to look back at that.
Yeah, exactly. Like the whole family
like,
getting murdered.
Yeah.
And obviously,
Obviously, the people are going to see the guy with the horse in the coffin and not, like, they're not going to think, like, oh,
night?
he might be in there. Fucking hightail it out, dude.
Like,
that guy
there's
implicated
nothing
in
suspicious
this?
over here.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, he did set up a ruse with 2 dead bodies where everyone... They had just bit on that bait. They were not trying to, get faked out by another fake dead guy.
True.
I do like that casting for John because of the silliness, the goofy guy. It's too easy. I didn't even think about it. All right, we got two more categories. We've got, is this a podium role for any of the top billed cast members? The one. Well, Clint Eastwood.
Yep.
I said no.
You, Daniel?
I said no. We got one yes, one no.
I would say
I
yes.
said yes.
I said no because I'm not as familiar with his older movies. This
Matt,
is the first time I've watched this.
Matt, it's role, not movie.
Understand.
Well, I haven't seen any other movies of this role.
Yeah, I said no. And mainly because we talked about Unforgiven last. I mean, this is in his top 5. Don't get me wrong. I'm not
Unforgiven's
shortcutting
why
this.
we're doing this.
Right. Unforgiven's why we're doing this. You have Dirty Harry, one of the most well-known characters of all time. So there's 2. And then a personal favorite, and again, this is more of a personal thing, but Gran Torino always got it for me. And so those 3 alone. And there's some other ones out there you could throw out. But for those reasons, I don't have this on there.
For me, this trilogy puts them on the map.
Sure. I don't disagree.
They're classic movies. That's why it has to be on the podium for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, and there's an
I'd probably
argument.
bump Gran Torino since that's a role he did at the end of his career.
Right.
He's just a cranky racist grandpa.
Yeah, it does hit home for some of us more than others, I'm sure.
What was the movie where he was the drug mule?
The Mule.
Mule.
Oh.
I don't like the way you.
It was right there.
Mule.
Also, maybe top 5 of those would be $1 Million Baby. He directed that and starred in it with a few others.
Spoiler alert,
sorry.
he killed her.
Hey.
No.
Debatable. But hey, if you want a happy movie, let's not talk about it. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So anybody else on there? I would say yes, because I don't know anybody else, and I tried really hard looking up IMDb's, and they're all foreign and things that I've never heard of. And maybe they were famous. I think the girl was a pretty famous German actress, but still, this is on her list.
Yeah, you might be famous as a German actress, but this is like a worldwide thing.
Yep, 100%.
Like, these movies are worldwide, they were a worldwide phenomenon now.
Mr. Worldwide.
Were they a demonoid
305.
phenomenon?
A what?
A demonoid phenomenon? Or the John Travolta movie phenomenon?
Oh my god. All right. This will be interesting because there's probably like 5 movies on here. But last category. Does this podium for the year 1964, the year my dad was born?
You guys probably already know my number.
All right, Kevin.
Yeah, we do.
I know you're number 1, but what's your 2 and 3?
What's Kevin's number 1?
Give us your number 2, Kevin.
Go. Okay, my number 3. My number 3 is Mary Poppins.
Okay.
Nice.
Boo.
My number 2 too.
Don't make me mute you.
I actually really enjoyed this movie, and this is my number 2
Nice.
on this. It's the first time watching.
Nice.
This is my number
Nice.
2.
Boo.
Number 1 is
Pop your number 2.
Nice.
Goldfinger.
Not From Russia with Love.
That wasn't this. That was released the year before.
Oh, it was still in the top. It was still in the top
Yeah.
10 on the.
Oh wow, it must have been from the year.
Yeah,
You
it must have
silly
been-
boy, Daniel. You're so silly.
I silly.
All right,
I'm not.
Dave.
But also, what was shit? Is it ARD?
ADR.
Yeah, ADR.
ADR. The lead.
Yeah, Goldfinger.
Goldfinger was a German actor who could not speak English, and everything was dubbed over for his role in that whole movie.
Now we have people like
I figured that
Christoph
was worth
Waltz
noting.
and really talented linguists, but
Daniel Bruhl.
how?
Speak
Yeah,
every
Daniel.
language.
Yeah, how crazy
Or,
are those people now?
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. Dave, what's your top 3?
We'll do Goldfinger at number 3. Shut up, Kevin.
Really silent.
This, A Fistful of Dollars, and then my number 1 is Doctor Strangelove.
Nice. Daniel.
I haven't seen that in a long time. I should watch that again.
Mine is number 3 is Goldfinger. Number 2 is A Fistful of Dollars. And number 1 is Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
So Dave's.
Yep.
Nice.
Exact same podium.
Eric.
Dude, same list, bro.
Slap hands! Slap hands!
Eric.
Slap hands!
I figured they'd all be very similar. I didn't think anybody would go out of their way. Eric.
I only had 2.
This is top 3.
Number 3.
Number
is,
3.
Number 3 is.
Marnie.
Number 2 is.
Number 3.
Mary Poppins, and then number 1 is.
Boo.
Dave, I will mute you and kick you out.
Just put Goldfinger on there, Eric. It's
Okay, number 3 is Goldfinger, but I haven't
There
seen
we
it.
go.
So
John. I know what John's
Dave.
number 1
Goldfinger,
is.
bud.
We'll do a watch party.
John.
So what were you
dare.
sharing? I'm sorry, some asshole was screaming into the mic, and I couldn't hear you.
John.
what'd you say, Daniel?
I said, I'm sorry, I would like to know what your 3 movies were, because some
Okay.
asshole was screaming into the mic, and I couldn't hear you.
I said number 3 is Goldfinger, but I haven't seen it. Number 2 is Mary Poppins, and then number 1 is this.
Okay,
Nice.
thank you.
You're welcome.
You should watch Strangelove. It's amazing.
Yeah,
It's
I should.
awesome. I love
Who's the asshole?
You, dummy.
it.
Talent.
Sphincter says what?
John.
What?
All right, number 3, Goldfinger.
Bow, bow, bow.
Number 2, Mary Poppins.
Boo.
Very well.
God.
And number 1, Doctor Strangelove,
Yeah.
or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
Nice. Well, I have not
Very
seen
fine
that movie
movie film.
either, believe it or not.
You've not
It's a
seen it?
Kubrick film, and I
Wow.
haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I know.
for like a
This
movie
is-
guy. Like, I'm not a movie guy, and I've
it's
seen
definitely on my short list of movies I haven't seen. So I need to go watch that.
It is not what I thought when we were doing. Maybe I was confused on the year release of this Fistful of Dollars. Not the other Kubrick film, which is on my all-time podium.
2001.
Yes.
I know
I
that.
think
Spoiler
I know
Strangelove
that's
is
yours.
actually on my all-time podium.
What?
I said I think Strangelove.
I was gonna
might
say
be
I
on
remember
my
you being a
all-time
big
podium.
strange.
It's either on the podium or like 4 or 5.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I really love that
So
movie.
I had this as number 3. Number 2, I had Goldfinger. It's only one of the only Bond movies that I've seen of the old ones. And number 1 is
It's so good.
Mary Poppins, I guess. This was a pretty weak either.
Yep.
It was not a heavy. I was.
Well, and that's the thing is we're so far away from
They
it.
don't-
Like we can't really
Yeah.
be like, oh, it's a weak year because there are movies.
Yeah,
that, you
fair.
know, there are movies that you and I like from like 10 years ago that weren't the top 10.
Yeah,
movies
understand.
Of that year,
And
you know?
and the ones that were the top though, if based on, I guess my answer for a week is that the top movies like My Fair Lady won Best Picture, snooze fest. I have seen that.
Oh yeah,
Very
I
boring.
thought I was gonna like that a lot, and it's fucking
Horrible.
I can't do it.
And the ones that I had heard of that I haven't seen, I couldn't put on here. Like Marnie's a Hitchcock film. You have Doctor Strangelove. I mean, you have all of those and that I haven't seen, so I couldn't put some of those on there. So it was a tough year
Right.
for that.
Well, at this point, it's when the movie in 1964. If we're talking about it today, that's showing those are the top movies. Like, how many people have
Sure.
our age have heard of other movies than what we listed?
Yeah, there are some that you
Right,
heard
this
of
doesn't
though.
necessarily
They
mean the
carried
top
on.
movies though, because there are movies that we love from
That people
10 or
haven't heard
15
of.
years ago, 20 years
Yeah.
ago, that people don't talk about anymore. Like Freddy Got Fingered is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
No,
But
no,
no one talks about that.
But
movie
they're
anymore.
not generational. Is what I'm saying. Is like
Sure.
The ones we
I get
list
what you're
generational.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I get
Mary
that.
Poppins.
I'm just saying that like
generational.
Freddy
that,
Got
like, there's
Fingered
also the
does not
fact,
compare
like-
to Mary Poppins.
we haven't seen a bunch.
I know.
That's
Hey,
just,
now.
that's just funny.
Yeah, if you go down the list, I mean, nobody said Hard Day's Night. That could have been on somebody's. I mean, it's more of just a big one long music video, but you could have said that. There's really not though.
I went.
Yeah, I mean, and
I went through the top 100
And
and,
that-
I saw like 6. That
yeah, that's crazy. Viva Las Vegas, I guess. That's about it. All right, well, thanks for tuning into our show. I have no idea what we're going to do next week. Maybe we'll talk about it. Please like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow us on your favorite social media platforms and keep looking out for our time travel tournament. It's heating up. We're almost done with the first round. Let's see what happens. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Bye, everybody.
Amigo.
And stop.